Hello, everybody. Welcome to Graded Point Live. Yeah. Apparently, Piper had an interesting weekend. It also call it. And unfortunately, Piper got confused with one of the inmates because apparently Piper is a tiny person, and she got
I was the
confused.
smallest one there, so that's pretty sad.
So one of the resource officers actually stopped her. They were about to, put her in jail. And Piper, she had to take time and explain what was going on. Like, what the, hey. So, but we got video. Well, we didn't get video, but we got some audio of that. Apparently somebody was there to record what was going on. So you explained the plight. If I understand this correctly, you explained your plight to this officer so he would understand that you are an adult, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
So with hearing that, let's hear this this discussion that she had with this resource officer.
I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. I'm a human, and I'm coming. I'm animated. I'm alive. My heart's big. It's got hot blood going through it fast. I like to fight, too. I like to eat. I like to have children. I'm here. I got a life force. This is a human. This is what we look like. This is what we act like. This is what everybody was like before us. This is what I am. I'm a throwback. I'm here. I've got the fire of human liberty. I'm setting fires everywhere. The humans are turning on everywhere.
Yes, it was an Alex Jones clip, but it was not the same one. Ha, I gotcha. So we can spice it up. We're not going to do it every night, honestly. We thought about this over the weekend when she said she got stopped at juvie. I was like, I got an idea. It sounds like South Park. South Park crossed with Alex Jones.
Nice.
I'm an explorer. He's an, I didn't know many things. I didn't know Piper was an explorer. I didn't know she had red blood going through her fast. But if you've ever watched this show or watched any of her content before, you know that she is coming.
Yeah.
So, other than that, you said you had some interesting weekend, and today was a very interesting day. So, give us a brief synopsis of things that happened.
The weekend was generally like bullshitty. Crap, my phone's across the room.
Mm-hmm.
But today was such it's the Mondayest Monday that I've had forever. Oh my god. Okay. So, I have to take the kid to community service. So I have to borrow a van to do that.
Mm-hmm.
On the way there, the van died.
Wow.
Yeah. And it took a while. I finally got it to restart. I was freaking out because I thought the battery was like foobar or something just right there.
Right.
And so that sucked. On the way home from dropping him off, though, I get pulled over for the first time ever.
Oh my.
In this town I was gone through this town all the time. You have to go from 55 to 35 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I go through there all the time, so I did that, and I got pulled over, and I couldn't figure out what the fuck I got pulled over for. I'm sitting there going, well, I guess I got a light out or something, because I was not speeding.
Right.
So when he was like, are you aware of the speed limit? I was like, yeah, I was going it.
Wait. Wait a second.
What?
You told the cop.
I was going the speed limit. I was not speeding. Yeah.
You know what the speed limit here is? Yeah, I was going it.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Right? I was pissed. As soon as his speed limit came out of his mouth, I was like, somebody had a quota. This fucking town.
Yeah, that whole thing, like, the cops will tell you, oh, we don't have quotas. Bullshit. They got quotas.
Right. Because this dude is, like, never even in his truck. His truck's usually just sitting there, and he's never even in it.
Mm-hmm.
When he's supposed to be looking for speeders. But
Oh.
but yeah, no. As soon as I was like, yeah, I was going it, and he just like he got a little. He wasn't happy that I had a little bit of an attitude. That was pretty much the most attitude I got because he just, oh my god, he buried himself. So he got my license and all that shit, and running that and all that shit. And he comes back and he was like, well. Sorry, the chat.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
He was like, well, I pulled you over because you were coming in a little fast. And I was like, well, you know, until it's 35, it's 55.
That is true.
Yeah. And he was like,
because most of the time law says that until you reach the sign,
yeah,
it is the previous speed limit.
Yeah, you could come in as fast as you want.
Yeah.
And I didn't come in really fast. Otherwise, I would have like slammed on my brakes or something. I could, you know, I did what I always do. I
you
slow
were
down
coasting
when I
down.
The warning sign. Yeah.
You were coasting
the
down.
The second
yeah.
I see the little warning sign, I let off the gas and coast down to, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then he goes, well, there's a school zone. And I'm like, yeah. The lights weren't flashing to slow down to 20. So he was like, there was a school zone. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, well, the lights just stopped flashing before you hit town.
So then
like,
there's nothing wrong.
So that's why I didn't see him flashing.
Yeah. Hey Chief,
so,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody told you how to do your job, but
right?
if the light ain't flashing, then there's no violation.
Right, so I'm trying not to smile. In the back of my head, I'm going, first time getting pulled over, and it's absolute bullshit.
You're getting pulled over by a moron.
Yeah, I'm like, god damn it.
Yeah.
And so then he finally he gives me my stuff back, and he was like, "Well, I'll let you off with a warning this time."
Oh, letting you off.
But yeah, right. But you can't let you off with a warning this time,
even though you didn't.
But
do
you
anything wrong.
you came into town pretty fast, and I was like, but I slowed down when I was supposed to. I didn't say that. At that point, I was just thinking it. I was just like, thank you so much, so I could go.
Yeah.
But god damn it, I'm like, dude, I just wasted so much time, and it was just bullshit. I wanted to get way snarkier, but I didn't want to push my luck because that's not what I need right now.
It's like when I go from my hometown to a town called Cary here in North Carolina. We got a highway we go down, and the speed limit's 70.
Yeah,
that's a suggestion to me. So I usually hit about 80, 85. When I'm really in a hurry, I might edge it up to 90. And now I want to remind people, I drive a Toyota Tundra. So whereas speeding is dangerous, in that regard, especially that kind of speed, doing it in a half-ton vehicle is probably even worse.
You know what I noticed though? The higher the speed limit is, the easier it is to speed without noticing it.
This is true too. Now, honestly, I wouldn't speed if I wasn't always having a deadline, because it's for my mom and she always has an appointment, and of course the appointment has to be an hour and a half away, and so we're usually late leaving. So let's put it this way: I can now make that hour and a half drive in an hour. I can shave 30 minutes off of it. And I've always got to be on the lookout for, cops, because the highway patrol always patrols that, sector, that part of the thing, because it's easy. That's easy money, right? Now, one time, I was going, I'm not kidding you, I was going 85. Not a doubt in my mind. I mean, I know I was going 85. And I'm in the fast lane, because I will do that. I was like, if I'm going fast, I'm at least in the fast lane, in the left lane or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I look behind me and I see the lights. They're not flashing. I just see them. I'm like, he's got me. I told my mom, I said, we're getting ready to get pulled over. Just letting you know. Then he speeds around me.
Oh shit!
And he had to be going 95 to get around me.
Oh shit! He had somewhere else to go.
I told Mom, I said, huh? And she said, how'd you pull that off? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I said, I somehow some chicanery happened and shenanigans, and he has more important things to worry about. I said, I always get scared. I said, I'm always looking for him in the mail to see if I'll get a ticket in the mail. It's like, well, we'll get you. Don't worry.
Well, my day still got worse from there.
I saw one time, it was the funniest. Well, let me tell this story real quick. It's quick. We had a situation where the stoplight in town, one of the stoplights in town had, wasn't working. Like, it was just dead.
Oh no.
And so usually when that happens, a police officer has to come and, direct traffic.
Yeah.
If they can get there in time, right? And well, this time there was a guy there and he was directing traffic. And then there was this one lady who totally ignored him.
Oh my God.
And went around him and turned.
Oh, shit. And
you hear him going, hey. And he went, that's all right. And he pulls out his notepad and writes down her plate. And then she stopped then, and she rolled the window down, looked back. He said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
She deserved that. Jesus.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I forgot that my Sunday rolled into this shitty Monday, because Sunday, it was where I had my friend was over that was going to maybe help me with the brakes on my car once I could afford them. Mm-hmm. He decided to hook computer, whatever the diagnostic thingy car.
Yeah.
And check out a few other things. And he was like, well, did you know you also have this, and this wrong with your fucking car? And then he was like, you smell that? You got a fuel leaks. And I was like, fuck this. I'm so done. So that was like Sunday. I was already just so done. And then rolled into Monday. All that happened. And then I decided it, because the sun came out, to take Lobo for a walk. And he's got this new training gear, because he is a puller. And I'm kind of small. And he weighs apparently as much as me. And he knows how to use it. And his training harness was not helping. So I got a training lead, which goes on the head.
Right.
Basically like a lead, the same thing they put on horses when they're not riding them around.
I have to use that with my dog.
Yeah, the gentle lead or gentle trainer or something like that.
I just use it as a leash because that son of a bitch is too strong.
Yeah. Well, I had that on him and it was really freaking awesome. So we were walking, and I decided that since we were walking by the nearest grocery store, I was going to run in real quick and grab something. Mm-hmm. So I was with my son at that point, because I had picked him up. And nothing bad happened on the way home. But, so I had him out with Lobo, sitting on a bench right outside the grocery store, so that I could run in real quick. Mm-hmm. Well, I come back out, and Lobo's leash and collar and training leader thingy, face collar thingy. Mm-hmm. It's Halty brand, so I'll just call it a Halty.
Yeah.
Was like all fuckered up. And like on wrong and this and that. And I was like, what went on out here? So he tells me that in the short time that I was in there, some crazy ass lady started harassing him, telling him that that something about that setup was animal cruelty, and took it into her own hands to start moving all of his shit, like his leash and crap.
Wait. So somebody else,
yeah,
who does not own your dog,
yeah, decided
they were going to unshackle him, essentially.
Yeah. They were going to undo all of his stuff while chewing my son out, telling him that it's against animal rights or animal cruelty or something like that.
You know what else is against the law? Having an unleashed dog.
Yeah. And that's like, um, he was under the impression that she was going to take the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I think is what he thought, at least. Oh, wait. Besides that, he's like, I thought she was dumb. I'm not sure what the end game was. She was either trying to take the dog or trying to get him to run loose. And I'm like, it's a parking lot. And it's a really busy one.
Mm-hmm. I agree. PETA might have killed him while you were gone.
This is true. Well, that's why I left him with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Because now with the new the lead on him instead of the harness, my son can actually control him now without dying. And I went in there to grab a bag of popcorn. That is only there since we were walking back. So I was like, and it was like empty inside. So I went in and got out pretty fast. And when I was out there, that's when my son's kind of just holding on to the leash was just like clipped on wherever at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the shit happened here? I had to redo all the
had to bind him back up essentially.
Yeah, fix the leash, fix everything, and
you had to put the demon seal back on him to make sure he
didn't.
Yeah.
While she did that. Now he is technically he is registered as a emotional support animal, like in my medical file.
Right.
Obviously that means he can't come in with me, but it's still kind of important when you're fucking with other people's pets because that's already kind of illegal, and then you're fucking with a medically necessary pet and almost getting him killed and or trying to steal him, whichever one she was trying to do.
Yeah.
But he is also technically in service dog training.
Right.
Now, he did not have a vest that says service dog training because I don't want to put that on him until he's under a legitimate trainer.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm doing the easier stuff because anybody can train him. You just have to pass a certification test for him to be a legitimate service dog.
Right.
So I'm trying to do the easy stuff, the obedience, mostly myself.
Kind of like the simple stuff like sit, stay.
Yeah, and just getting him to walk on a leash like normal.
Yeah. Not to pull, not to
Yeah,
walk
I'm trying to get him to learn to
walk with you, not you walk. He walks you, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, trying to do the easy stuff that like anybody should be able to do with their dog at home.
I have this American Bulldog. If you want to like train him too, I will pay you because damn. I mean, he's a good boy. The problem is like we don't get to he runs around. He gets to run around the yard a lot. He gets plenty of exercise. It's just we don't have time to walk him because we live in a lot of open area anyway.
Yeah.
And so he gets a lot of like running around and play time. It's just he never got too much of a training on the leash,
Yeah.
The only person who can handle him is my dad. Like, and that almost didn't work. Okay, quick story.
Ooh.
We took our dogs for the walk, and I was taking the good dog because the good dog doesn't want to run away from you, right? You put him in his harness, and he's good to go. Then, and my dad had Dusty, who's the bulldog, right? And I don't know if you know anything about American bulldogs. They're basically descendants of mastiffs.
Yeah.
And they are strong.
Yeah.
Their size is very, very non-indicative to their actual strength.
That's what I feel about this guy, but it's been legit. He's part wolf, very small part wolf.
Yeah.
But man, he uses it.
So, you're thinking, okay, I mean, like I said, he's not a small dog. He's a big boy, but he's not huge. He's not like a Rottweiler or anything like that, right? And he's skinny. I mean, not like skin and bones, but he's just like a, stocky, skinny dog,
Yeah.
Well, one time we were going for a walk in the woods, right? Just chilling. my dad got ahead of us because Dusty likes to mess with Mikey. Mikey's the other dog, right? Likes to mess with him when they're trying to walk, and Mikey's just, well, you leave me alone. I'm just going to walk. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So my dad, he'll walk maybe like 30 to 50 feet ahead, kind of thing, just to keep everybody calm. And so we get down there. There's this little like holding pond near where we walk, and my dad stopped, and he was sitting on a log, and waiting for us. And Dusty was sitting there fine with him, no problem. And I came up, and, of course, I had Mikey with me, and then Dusty decided, well, it's time to play with Mikey. I want to preface this by saying that my dad is 6'5", 250 pounds. He is not a small man. He's a very strong. He's
definitely bigger than the dog, unlike me.
Yeah, he is very strong. My dad is also very strong, right? And he's got that farmer strength. You know what they talk about?
Yeah.
Just like there's no way this man. He's a big guy, but like he does things that shouldn't be possible by a normal man. Yeah, exactly. He's 70 years old, going on, like you said, 30.
Yeah.
For example, like a friend of mine told me one time my dad was doing some work for him, and he had this like one of them old steel pipes, and the thing wasn't like in the right position for Dad, so Dad just bent it himself.
Damn.
He's like, and he said that'll work. And my friend looked at him like, Jesus. But anyway, so Dad's sitting on the log. Get up to the thing. I walk up to it. My Mikey's with me. Dusty sees Mikey. Dusty takes off, yanks my dad off the log, and pulls him about 10 feet.
Dang, that sounds like my first walk with Lobo was so embarrassing.
Yeah, dragged him about 10 feet on his belly. It was like rocks and stuff. I had to make sure he was all right because I thought, damn,
God,
I thought for sure he got hurt, but no, he was fine. But I said, damn. And we used to have a Rottweiler too, and he wasn't like, he could do what he wanted to if he wanted to do it, right? But he was just a good dog, so he wouldn't usually do that. So we knew about strong dogs, Yeah. And but this like fooled both of us. It's like, holy shit.
Dang.
Oh man.
James, get out! What the fuck?
Tell them how.
No.
Oh my god.
We're not telling them stories.
Yeah. That's a story from ever ago. Go. Go. So to continue my bad day, there's this right here happening.
Mm-hmm.
He won't shut the fuck up or go to sleep. But also, I have besides that, I have a bag full of they were on sale at like I think Hobby Lobby or something like that.
Yeah.
This tubing that's usually you see it in people use it when they're making stuff, and they use it a lot in making dreadfalls and stuff, like hair decorations.
Yeah.
So I stocked up on this because I was really in the crafty mood and I was going to make so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I have so much of it. I have a whole bag of it. And the kitten, she's lucky, she's cute. None of the cats or the dog, any animals that have come in here, even ferrets, right? None of them have fucked with this bag. And this kitten that decided that I had to adopt her because I was looking for Charlie and she kept coming instead. Got into the bag, and that's when I muted and I had to get up and go for a minute. And no shit, man, she got this stuff all over the place in a very short period of time. Because I just chased her off some furniture and sat back down like not that long ago, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, well fuck you." Oh, that was a nice business. I think that's my Monday so far. It's not over yet. Oh my god. I feel like today's gonna be like, "Hey, you thought that was fucking annoying? Hold my beer."
So,
like this kid that won't fucking go to bed.
So is there anything else? Because I just realized we've been talking about this for 25 minutes.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't plan to extend it that long. But no, that was about it. Oh no, I forgot a detail on the dog thing. For one, Jess, if you have a puller or a stubborn dog, go look up the one I got was Halti brand. And that's just because that's what I looked up, because there's I guess a famous dog trainer or something that was suggesting that to people.
Right.
And so, it works. I mean, he still kind of doesn't like wearing it because he doesn't like the fact that he can't tell me where to go. But I definitely highly suggest it after trying it.
Yeah.
James, shut up. It's not an ass seen on TV. Will you fuck off? Fucking Mondays, man.
Yeah. He's supposed to be quiet during the show.
Yeah. James, be quiet.
I mean, well,
Fucking, are you playing with your baby penis again?
Uh,
That should shut him up.
So anyway, let's talk about something that's actually related to.
Oh wait! No, I forgot that the dog thing. I forgot one thing.
Okay, all right.
So I'm on a there's a Facebook group that's basically for our town. So I went and posted a rant about, some retard, but some asshole in our town just fucking did this with my dog.
Don't tell me
I was just ranting. Not yet.
Oh.
But I have like half the goddamn town pissed at this person I don't know. and they're all like, "Oh, or if they have cameras out or security cameras and stuff." And like there's like a witch hunt for like pitchforks and stuff.
We gotta find this woman who's trying to unleash the dogs.
Right?
This dumb bitch. So are we good now?
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
That's adding to my stress a little bit, just like
I hear you. So let's talk about something. Oh, Jesus Christ. Shut up! Damn.
You say stuff and I'll mute me really quick and beat his ass off.
Okay. So let's talk about some stuff that's pertinent to things that happened over the weekend. And that is one of these. Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, brings home $153 million at domestic box office. All right. I'm gonna read this, and I'm very quick about it. I'm not gonna stop and comment like I usually do. I'm gonna read this very quickly, and then I'm gonna go into a light rant.
Okay.
In case you missed it, I'm gonna read through this article, and I'm not stopping. I'm gonna read the entire article with no comments or anything like that.
Oh boy.
And then get to
hard
the end
for me.
and then get to the end, and then I'm gonna explain some stuff. Here we go.
All right.
Disney and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel brought home over $153 million on its opening weekend, according to Box Office Mojo, topping Disney's opening weekend expectations of $150 million. Captain Marvel would trounce its competition at the box office with How You Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, will bring in $14.7 million in its third week. It would be followed by Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral, which brought in over $12,000 the second week. Alita Bad Angel would bring in $3.2 million in its fourth week. Captain Marvel's $153 million opening weekend makes it it third all-time in March, behind Beauty and the Beast and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. It just barely edged out The Hunger Games. The film has the second highest opening weekend gross for a superhero origin film, behind Black Panther, as listed by Box Office Mojo. The movie falls 11th in total openings for the superhero films, behind The Dark Knight, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers, Iron Man 3, and others. The film would bring in reportedly brought in $89.3 million in China. Captain Marvel's opening weekend worldwide box office was $456.3 million. Captain Marvel was positioned expertly by Disney and Marvel Studios to maximize its box office revenue. The film teased the titular hero, Captain Marvel, at the end of its mega blockbuster, Avengers: Infinity War. The post-credit scenes in that film heavily implied the character will be a big player in Avengers' first fight against Thanos moving forward. The film debuted just a little over a month before Avengers Endgame. where we'll be seeing the conclusion of the Avengers fight against Thanos. What's interesting is that Box Office Mojo indicates the film's audience breakdown shows that 55% of the audience goers were male and 45% were female. They report this is the smallest gender divide among films in the MCU, but nowhere near the 52% male crowd Wonder Woman played back in July 2017. 6% of the audience goers were also 25 or older. Box Office Mojo notes ranks as one of the older audiences for an MCU film. There has been quite the controversy surrounding this film, especially the way the lead actress Brie Larson promoted the film. She indicated the film was her form of activism. She would go on to insinuate she wanted less white men reviewing the film and covering her on the press tour. She would go on to crack jokes about the patriarchy and inject politics into the promotion of the film, describing it as a, quote, big feminist movie, and that the movie is about, quote, intersectional feminism. The film was also received mixed reviews from audience goers. The movie is currently at 58% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 33.4 user score on Metacritic. The movie did receive an A from CinemaScore. What do you make of the Captain Marvel box office numbers? Is this what you expected? What do you make of the mixed audience reactions? Okay, now. Now. There's going to be a lot to ingest here. So, a lot to ingest. So, hold on one second. I need to take care of something. Can you entertain?
Oh, I'm very entertaining.
All right, thanks.
Sometimes. Oh, this sucks because I want to rant right now. But that would be mean. But seriously, this bullshit. Oh, God damn it. Somebody in the chat said something. Oh, wow. I am told that unlike Ghostbusters 2016, Captain Marvel actually had theaters filled with a lot of cat eye glasses wearing neon haired ladies and their bitch boys. Is I tried to summarize that, but so apparently the SJW crowd actually bought tickets to this. That surprises me because they obviously aren't buying the Captain Marvel comics where they wouldn't be having to reboot her a couple times every year. This sucks because all the stuff I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about because he wants to talk about it too. So now I'm pissed. Oh my God, help. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So friend who's a GM, general manager of a theater, lots of neon haired cat ladies. That's what it was. Okay. And also I think there's plenty of pull still from people that are just diehard Marvel fans that don't want to miss any of the movies in the continuity and can't freaking just wait for it to come out, discount theaters or for free, stream it. I almost was that person. Where's everybody at? But actually, when it came to Captain Marvel, when it was first announced and this and that, I made fun of the fact of the casting, but for the longest time, I was still planning to go and see this movie in theaters too. Maybe not opening weekend, but still like full price opening week. Opening weekend can be kind of crowded. Well, maybe not for this movie, but still.
Hello.
Hey, there we go.
How many?
And then I took an arrow to the knee. Yes.
Yeah. How many people are in the chat?
3?
Only 3?
Only 3 are talking right now.
No, I'm talking about in the chat, not how many people are watching, I should say.
Oh, 6. It was 7, but then I took an arrow to a knee.
Okay.
I just watched it go to 6.
All right, yeah. We need to, I guess, fuck it, go reshill because people need to hear this.
Okay, you two, everybody, go shill.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, go, team effort.
Straight up, here's the thing. One, I believe Disney is elevating their own numbers. Some people might not like to hear that. Oh, you're just being, you're talking conspiracy. But there's a fact that a lot of people, and like I said, this is anecdotal evidence, just people, what I've researched. They keep telling, they told me, well, my theater was sold out, but when I got there, it wasn't even half full.
Now, I have heard a few people that were still surprisingly hyped for this movie say the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm not saying was it Disney? Maybe not, but walks like a duck, talks like a duck.
Disney could afford to do it.
After everything that happened with the review scores and the audience thing and changing Google, changing the freaking YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, Jesus.
I just cannot get it out of my head that they elevated their own numbers just to make it look good.
Yeah.
And, people say, oh, but it's a juggernaut, you really can't stop it and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but, I have two eyes and I can see,
Yeah.
And.
Well, I do know that against my advice, I had friends that basically just went to watch it simply because it's a Marvel movie and they want to watch all the Marvel movies in theater.
And
despite me going, this one's to stain it. Like, I'm like, this one made me stop because I was doing that. Yeah. And this one made me finally, I was going to go see this. Still.
Yeah.
But the more, stuff starting and the more shady everything got, the more I was like, fuck the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point. I went from fuck Captain Marvel, I'm still going to watch the other movies, to, fuck Disney.
That's kind of where I'm at this point. I'm going to be honest with you guys, those of you who are listening. I have lost all interest in Endgame.
Yeah.
This has killed me. This has killed my appreciation for the MCU.
I'm thinking of still going, not opening weekend, but still going to see Endgame, but it would be the end of me watching Marvel movies.
I'm not going. Unfortunately there's no dollar theaters. You know what I mean? Around where I live.
I was gonna say, across from our rave cinema, one of the two nearby ones that completely bought out the entire weekend's showings of this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Right across from the rave is a Dollar Saver, where everything goes next, and you can watch it for $2.
Yeah. I'm catching Endgame when it hits the library. I don't even know if I want to take the time to torrent it.
I still kind of want to watch it just because I want the other half.
Yeah, but here's the thing with me. After
the closer it gets to it, if more bullshit comes out, especially if it's bullshit regarding Endgame now and not just Captain Marvel, then that's going to thoroughly push me away, just like it pushed me away from Captain.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what's going to happen. Now that they have made their money, that they said they needed to make, right?
They claim they needed to make. Yeah.
What they're calling the, you get what you already see where I'm going, right?
Yeah. Now they get their.
Now they're gonna give the Captain Marvel version,
and they really wanted her in the Endgame hard. So I would not be surprised at all.
Everybody but the people making the film wanted her in the movie, which is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I guess I had to say it. Infinity War. That was the last Marvel movie. That's it. Infinity War was the last Marvel movie. Thanos wiped out the entire galaxy. Thanos won. The end.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
You know what I mean?
Thanos, yeah.
Thanos won. The end.
Yeah.
I zero interest. Zero interest. I never thought it would happen. I never thought it would be. Yeah, I mean, there have been like subpar. I will say there have been some subpar movies in the thing. You know, Thor 2. But nothing ever got me to the point where it was like, I just don't want to watch any of them anymore. You know, and this is it. It's done. It broke me. And that's going to lead into what I'm going to say next. I see a lot of people saying this movie's going to suck. I'm going to go watch it.
So that I can keep telling people it sucks.
Why? Don't do that. Because you're still giving your money to them.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I know that like a lot of people, when I made this rant, I had a few people going, you can't say you hate the movie if you haven't watched it.
I absolutely fucking
can't
say I hate a movie.
I listed off, I was like, here's all the reasons why you can say that the movie sucks or that you're not interested in the movie. I mean, for one, if you're not interested in the movie, don't pay to go see the fucking movie.
Hey, you remember 1998 when the thing that they called a Godzilla movie came out?
Yeah.
I
went to see it.
I had full intention of going and seeing it. Just so happens, I walked by Spencer's. I don't even remember Spencer's Gifts, you know.
Yeah.
I walked by Spencer's and they had the posters for the Godzilla movie. And I saw what Godzilla looked like. I said, nope, and walked out. Went home.
I still gave the movie a chance.
I did not give it a chance.
I regretted it.
I said, nope. I said, that I don't know what that is. That is not Godzilla.
But in 1998, I was like a kid.
I was a kid, Piper.
I don't think I'm not the one. Like I think I went with my family, so I don't even think I was the one that paid for it. It was like a family outing thing.
19 years old, and I'm like, nope. Nope, I'm leaving.
Well, I didn't see any posters beforehand. I just heard, Godzilla, but with our, current movie technology and blah, 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 all this cool shit. And I'm like, man, that has some really awesome potential.
I mean, and, Mata's got a point. If they never called it Godzilla, it wouldn't nearly be as hated as it is now. That's probably true.
Yeah, they could have just called it Cloverfield.
Got my issues with that movie, too.
I do, too.
But the whole like, oh, you can't know if you hate it unless you watch it. Oh, I absolutely can. Right? I absolutely fucking can. Don't tell me what I can't.
I'm trying to say, like, for one, there's different things that can put you off of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, so if stuff surrounding the movie is already putting you off of the movie, why would you reward that by giving them money just so you can diss the movie?
Yep.
But there's other things too, like, like seeing. Well, I'm not interested because of what Godzilla looks like in this movie. It's just like here. I'm not interested because she ain't got a booty. Like, that's all you need. That's really vain and it's a shitty one. But I mean, if you're not interested or you're already pissed, yes, you can say it is a bad movie because of, in my case, I used the example. I was like, I know it's a bad movie because the positive reviews don't sound positive.
Yeah. When, like I said, when the positive reviews are really hedging.
Yeah, when they're not really selling the movie.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, I called out, I don't know if you saw it, but I made a little video Friday about this where Eric Kane, said, oh, this is such a great movie. Reviews coming tomorrow. And then no more than like a couple hours after he made that tweet, Marvel had put out a video talking about how many critics loved Captain Marvel, and Forbes, who Eric Kane writes for, was up there. So I'm like, why did they put them up there if they don't already know what it's gonna say?
Yeah.
Because that it hadn't been released yet. His review hadn't gone live. So
Yeah.
So that's once again more fucking chicanery going on, right?
Yeah. And then, there's the whole thing we were talking about, the actors involved and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When they become less interesting to you and even less attractive to you as a person, the more they run their mouth.
And the one person
that's going to put you off a movie. The movie's going to suck because look who's in it. This person sucks.
And then, and the same guy, Eric Kane, also said that, Cinema Score gave it an A, so that's more accurate than Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic. Cinema Score does polling, right?
Yeah.
They do like a polling of 1,500 people.
It's so easy to...
Now, here's on top of that. Somebody who spent, $20 to $30 on a movie is less likely to immediately say that it was terrible. Because they just spent money on it. And they're like, oh, no. I mean, it's kind of like a video game. You buy this video game, you get hyped up for it. The first hour, you're just like, okay, maybe it's not that bad yet. No, it's okay. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Battleborn.
Yeah. And then the more you play it, you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, yay, Battleborn. And then I was like, the distracted boyfriend thing where I'm looking over at Overwatch like, looks like they're having a lot of fun over there.
There's nobody playing over here. What's going on?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Right? Like, what the hell, dude?
This seemed a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Instead, it was like eye bleedy.
But like I said, I just cannot anymore justify giving Marvel. Can't give them money for my comics, I can't give them money for comics, and now I'm not even gonna give them money for. I mean, I'm getting to the point. It's like just fuck Disney, Like how many more franchises are you gonna ruin, my friends? Because damn. And see, that's the thing where I really do think it's a fucking.
And they're ruining everybody else's, and then they're ruining their own too by trying to do the like live action reboots or whatever, and just those are shit.
Also, like I said, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the thing, another thing that gets me, the whole, back to like possibly inflating the money,
Oh yeah.
All I've seen since that is like people going, nee, we won, you lost. I'm like, okay, you gave your money to a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Good job.
Yeah, like you reinforced really shitty business practices. Yay, you!
Like honestly, before all this, I was one of those people. Like I don't like monopolies, right? I'm not a fan of monopolies. But I was actually excited that Disney was buying Fox, because that meant, at least for my own greedy corner of this is just for me, because that I don't not really caring too much about the whole almost complete multimedia takeover kind of thing. It was just this little niche thing. I was like, we'll finally get the X-Men back where they belong. I was like, it'll be so good when Marvel Marvel Studios makes an X-Men movie. It'll be so good. Now I don't even want that.
Yeah, I was in the same boat where I'm like, cool, I want to see them make an X-Men movie, because I was enjoying the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
The Marvel Studios movies. And now even that, I'm like, I don't know if they can convince me to, I don't know if I can trust them enough to go back out there in the theater.
At this point, I'm almost like, Sony, take Spider-Man back.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe I'm saying that. Just...
Right? I might actually, like, if you do it, I'll actually start.
That Spider-Man trailer, right? I started really thinking about that, and I was like, God, it's gonna be just as bad. Because they put the dumb.
The more I watch it, the less interested I get in that movie.
Yeah.
Like I was almost hyped, and then I was like, it won't be so bad. And now I'm like, oh, what if this is bad? Like.
The add-on character that has never been in comics ever, the chick.
Yeah.
They're going to make her a focal point. I'm telling you, she's going to be feminism. She's already done it.
Yeah.
You see in the previous movie, it wasn't that bad because she wasn't that much focused,
Yeah, it wasn't so cringy.
And now she's going to be the focus.
They could at least have made her a redhead, man. Like, goddamn it.
And then on top, the whole like, he says something like, you're pretty, and she says, so no, I have value, and he's like, no, I didn't, and she's like, just kidding. No, she wasn't kidding.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. You were just trying to make up for how shoehorned in that was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hate you, MJ. Pretty much, yeah. And don't call her MJ. If it's gonna be a new character, be a new character. Quit stealing from other things. Like the whole, hey, spoilers, because I don't give a fuck. They fucking not only was Annette Bening the Supreme Intelligence, she was also Marvel.
Oh yeah.
They made Marvel a woman.
Yeah, that was my other answer to you don't know you're gonna hate the movie unless you go watch it. Where I'm like, there's these things called spoilers that you can look at or read. Yeah, and I'm like, and so I definitely they definitely guaranteed I hate that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like somebody, I think I was watching Micah Curtis, watching him and Hatman they were going over their review of it, and Micah made a good point that one of the things that bothered him was when they did the whole sequence with just a girl thing.
Yeah,
he said,
I'm still mad about Nick Fury's eye. That's why I don't want to see that movie.
That scene, which would have been probably epic if you had like the classic Marvel orchestration and things like that, like epic moment, like boom boom beat 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 kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
No, let's put some barely entertaining 90s music,
Yeah. Really cliche as fuck.
Right.
Song pick too.
Yeah. Someone else pointed out that
they had like multiple writers for this one, and it's still like everything I read about it. It sounds like the laziest writing ever.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah.
How do you have that many shitty writers?
Someone else pointed out that the Avengers were created because of the Asgardians and aliens and such. Yeah, but then Fury knew about the Kree and the Skrulls. Like,
yeah.
Once again, we're shoehorning new continuity in there.
Yeah, and don't forget, fuck Hank Pym.
Yeah, and Hank Pym apparently doesn't exist. And somebody made a great point. They found out, they named the Avengers after her call sign, which is Avenger. She was a test pilot. Why would she have a call sign Avenger? She wasn't a combat pilot. Combat pilot wouldn't have a cool name,
Yeah.
I mean, cool combat pilot is Cougar and Merlin and Maverick and and Iceman and what was the other one? So, hey guys, we're in the 90s. We are in the 90s.
What's funny though is from what I heard from that watched it is like the 90s isn't that long ago, but apparently the people that made the movie already forgot what the 90s actually was like. Like
everything I heard described about it, it's like, guys, the 90s weren't that great.
I mean, no, the 90s are nice nostalgia, but what I mean is like they apparently completely didn't know what the tech was like in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And so they gave them all like, I think like way older tech than you would have had in the 90s.
I mean, I think I had a flip phone in the 90s.
Yeah.
I had a Motorola flip phone, Yeah. I sure did. That was like that was back in the day, like, you use this only in emergencies. We only got 50 minutes.
There was actually technically kind of Wi-Fi in the 90s. It's just that it wasn't like a household thing.
Yeah, no,
The only reason I knew it was a thing is like you had to have a lot of money. And then you were pretty much your own Wi-Fi point or your own hotspot.
That's what they called wireless LAN, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and so you weren't really Wi-Fi, you were just on a network.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if that network
I just know
access to the internet at the time, then yeah, you were great. But it was also slow as shit because broadband wasn't much of a thing yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like not much of a thing. I'm talking about maybe 1% of America had DSL.
Yeah.
Cable hadn't really gotten into the mix yet. So
Well, they still by the end of the 90s, DSL was pretty much DSL and beyond, and cable was actually pretty much the
Yeah, but we're
standard.
talking, this is 95, 96, so.
Yeah, then it was getting close to being the standard. Because my dad had it, but my mom didn't at that point. I think. Actually, yeah. I think we were still on dial-up at my mom's, but my dad had
We were making new AOL accounts every couple months to
right?
Get more hours, you know.
But it was a cable guy. That's how I found out that like I discovered that Wi-Fi was a thing because I had wanted it to be a thing.
Yeah.
And then a cable guy was out to see if we could have cable internet for the first time ever. And he was on a laptop, but on the internet without any connection. I was like, wait, how are you doing that? Yeah, it was slow as fuck, but still.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, you mean
Yeah,
it's
but we
a
didn't know
thing?
it. But think about it. We didn't know what slow was. You know, we were just like, I can look things up on this machine. You know?
Yeah.
I can look things up on this machine that's not usually on my machine. You know, if you knew anything about computers.
The 90s still had, I think, one of the, no, it might have been the early 2000s, one of the best versions of Windows. Can't remember when it came out.
Yeah, don't say DSL was, don't say cable was taking DSL over. I still got fucking DSL. Get out of here.
Yeah, I was going to say DSL.
The biggest thing before DSL was the, what do you call them? Gosh. It was
my dad had I can't remember the actual name, but I know that for a while, like, the internet there I thought was super duper fast because he had a T line, and I can't remember what the fuck a T line is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's a T, God.
But it was supposed to be like
Yeah.
broadband or broadband precursor or some shit.
Yeah, I think you were getting like 128 kbps, and you were like, woo!
Yeah.
And it was always on, so you didn't have to like dial in or anything like that.
Yeah.
T1, yeah.
T1, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I was like,
T1.
it's a T something. T1 line, yeah, that's right.
ASDN, that's what I'm thinking, the ASDN line. That was basically, it was a dedicated phone line.
Sounds like a porn genre.
It does, right? And essentially, it would give, it was kind of always on type thing, but it was like a lot slower than like a T1, but it was faster than dial up, you know?
Yeah.
So, and this is like a precursor to DSL. So.
Yeah, which I think the T1 ended up being like a precursor to cable internet or directly cable internet, I think.
Yeah, ISDN. I don't know why I said ASDN. Yeah, ISDN. Excuse me.
Okay, that sounds more familiar. And for some reason, just switching the A with an I makes it less like a porn category. Not by much, but
yeah, ISDN.
I know whenever when we had dial up, dude.
I remembered early.
My fucking mom, I would take the phone off the hook every time she got online.
I remember
and then tell her the internet was broken.
I remember the late 90s, early 2000s when they were still, you know, you remember this thing called the radio? That was the thing. And they would have commercials, and it was so funny because you know how you had that one DJ who was popular in your area for that station, and they would do the commercials, and they said like, you probably heard about this cable, but you know, cable, you got to worry about the load times when people come home at night. So what you really want is a digital subscriber line, which is DSL, which is much superior to cable. I was like, yeah, that didn't last long, did it?
Right?
I mean, it sounded like great, you know, the way they were describing it. It's like, this line is dedicated to you and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. But on cable, you got to share it with everybody in your neighborhood, and during peak hours, it'll get really slow. I said, yeah, it'd get a little bit slower, but it wouldn't get that slow.
But yeah, what I heard from people watching the movie was, you know, despite the movie being all like, yay, it's the 90s. Did you forget it's the 90s? It's totally the 90s. Like, everybody was really outdated tech for the 90s. Like,
and yes, it's funny you said you work for Earthlink. I worked for Sprint for about 6 months. So
I remember Earthlink.
And I believe Earthlink was owned by Sprint. I might be wrong on that. But I worked in telephone repair. You know, where we took the calls for the repair center and everything. So. Yeah. That was another thing. ISDN was like super expensive. I think even on the low end, it was like $300 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was another? And of course, you said like the T1. T1 was really expensive, but you got really good speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what T1, I think they wanted T1, if I remember correctly, was going to be kind of like their hook it up to apartments, and the apartment complex could share the line essentially, and that's how you would divert costs. But everybody would share the cost on it and everything. It was basically communism.
My dad had one for his house.
Did he? Oh,
it was supposed to be super cool, huh?
I was going to say, did he run a business or anything? Because usually they didn't let people have T1s like that.
It quickly got replaced with something else.
I remember.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I'd have to ask him. I can't. How he ended up T1, but he's been in the tech industry, so I don't know. Like,
because we tried to get, because when that was kind of like my, it was going to be my workaround. It's like I'll just get a T1, Then it's like, how much would a T1 cost? It's like, well, after you spend $5,000 to install it, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he had it during the first time he worked for NASA.
Oh, okay, that might have something to do with it.
And I can't remember if he was in an apartment or a house, because I do remember he was in an apartment from time to time, but I'm pretty sure he was still on dial-up in the apartments. So I think it was his first house. But he quickly replaced it, I believe, with cable.
Oh, and by the way, I'm going to do take a little quick break here. I'm going to do a little shill link that I got my Streamlabs working. So if you want if you want to donate, and I guarantee that I say something, as long as it's not racial or homophobic on the stream, just donate there.
Oh, really? Does that buy that's we can do our own version of Super Chat.
Yeah, it's basically, we're gonna call it a graded chat.
Graded chat.
Graded chat. Yeah. Everything's branded here. Yeah.
I agree with Ren on a lot of that.
Well,
I dropped off. I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show for a while, and then I dropped off. I was like, nope.
Well, let's talk about that then.
I'm really disappointed because I loved Coulson's character. I was so sad when he died, and then got excited. Like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was pretty good at first. I mean, them coming up with how he's still alive was pretty stupid, but I was like, that's okay. Coulson, I get to see more. And
the whole, they just said what he said went to, was it Tahiti?
Tahiti, yeah.
And he found it was like Project Tahiti or something like that. And,
yeah.
And it was basically, was it Kree?
Oh, I can't freaking remember.
Or was it like Inhuman? It was something, I know it was some kind of technology.
Some tech. It was alien tech, it was.
Yeah, that basically brought him back to life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what was I doing?
Dissing this guy for being a douchebag.
Wow.
And making me sad.
Yeah, Clark, what are you doing? Clark Gregg attacks Marvel fans criticizing Brie Larson. Why do everybody want a white knife with this bitch?
Right?
God.
She don't deserve it.
Quote, dinosaurs walking towards the tar pits. So, Clark Gregg, who plays Agent Phil Coulson in Marvel Cinematic Universe, attacked Marvel fans who have been criticizing Captain Marvel and actress Brie Larson. Gregg sat down with Nerdist, well, that was his first mistake, where he described Marvel fans as criticized Larson as dinosaurs wandering into the tar pits. Gregg would begin his discussion with the Nerdist saying, there are people who get appraised very quickly, and that turned out to be the opposite of wisdom. I think they are seeing some of that at the moment. Gregg goes on to praise the Captain Marvel film and notes his enjoyment of Carol Danvers' origin story and a comment describing it as, quote, one of the coolest. Now, remember, he works for the company, so he's kind of got to say this shit.
Yeah.
He then decides to attack fans. There are people who get very bent out of shape by the fact that she's a woman. That was not the reason why people were bent out of shape.
Nobody's gotten bent out of shape at the fact that she's a woman.
They're bent out of shape because she's Brie Larson, and she's bad.
Yeah.
And that Brie's a woman and wants to see a woman move into an equal place in humanity to men. He continues.
Wow.
Hey guys, did you know that? Let you know that the gender pay gap was never passed. Women's rights was never added to the Constitution, and women basically just sit in in men's homes, and they clean the kitchen floor with their bare hands.
It's nice. We have the same rights as cattle. Good.
Yeah. Well, no, less than cattle, because the cattle don't even have to work. Y'all women still got to
that's true.
Y'all got to do the chores and stuff. I mean, and you have
how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah.
Really? Nobody's been pissed at these movies because of a chick.
Yeah.
It's because of the marketing and, in this case, the chick that they picked.
I also noticed that
Be
Bree was
happy
giving
if-
out popcorn and sodas in the theater. The empty seats seemed overwhelming, yet the video got cut off when it zoomed in on the audience. Right, it says cattle farts. Yeah. But yeah, let's see where we're going. In a shocking, dinosaur. In shocking moment of irony, Gregg lists off a number of strong female characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who didn't face the criticism Captain Marvel and Brie Larson faced leading up to the release of this film.
Gee, it's almost like
They weren't intolerable.
Yeah, it's almost like nobody was pissed at women being.
Gregg states, I've certainly come up in the Marvel Universe with some amazing heroes like Natasha Romanoff, Scarlet Witch, and Maria Hill for my money, he adds. And yet there's something special about this moment. That this happening, that my 17-year-old daughter, having grown up in the Marvel Universe, and frankly growing up with the superhero Quake and the biogenius Simmons on Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's used to that, but there's something special about this. He then decides to call Marvel fans butthurt. I think it's easy for people to get.
Wow.
I don't know if the expression is butthurt, but seeing someone else get a hero that looks like them, but that's because they always had heroes that look like them. I've never, guys, you all know many 5'4", blondes with no ass that look like norm like that. Not really.
They're just like, we need a hero that looks just like.
Step. It wouldn't have been complete canvas without someone like Captain Marvel, in the same way that it was never going to be a complete canvas without T'Challa in Wakanda. Practical. Put it in this box, right? You think if Disney had the rights to Wolverine, that we would have ever seen T'Challa in its own film?
Nope. I think we still would, because
nope. Not in Winter Soldier, not in Civil War. They would have definitely gone with somebody like Wolverine, because that would have been cooler.
Yeah, but it's Disney we were talking about, so it's still like,
think about how they
frame Canadian guy, or we can black guy movie. Come on.
No. It's not about that. It's about making money and popularity.
Which
right?
They don't seem to care about.
No.
Considering how they've done this Captain Marvel shit.
Well, like I said, just think about this. If they cared about making money, you got Civil War, and you're going to have Wolverine in it. Oh hell yeah, that would have made double the money it made. Double, easy. Because it would have been like Wolverine. It'd have been Wolverine's debut in the Marvel Universe, a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Fuck yeah. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody clamored for Black Panther. Nobody cared. When they finally did it, it was cool. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not taking it away from it. But I can guarantee you, if they had Wolverine, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, that would have been Wolverine instead of Black Panther. Fuck yes. They would have definitely gone with the Canadian. And not batted a fucking eye. Because guess who wasn't barely involved in Civil War? Black Panther. And not much Wolverine wasn't, because Wolverine was doing his own side story. While all the other heroes were being dicks and fighting each other, he's like, I'm going to go get the guy who started all this shit. See y'all later. So, yeah, let's see what we got going in the chat. No tweets of praise from Captain America and Hulk on how marvelous Captain Whammon was. Really makes you think if the rumor is true. Total silence on Chris and Mark on Twitter right now. Not even one single fucking praise for review of Captain Whammon. Although Mark tweeted about sending his daughter to see it. Like, here, you go see it. I'm not watching that shit. Speaking of Asians, Rush Hour is getting a Whammon reboot. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking, no, I'm just.
Hey, you know what made Rush Hour great? Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. You know what's not going to make it great? Getting rid of Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Fuck that shit. Why can't they just stop touching things? Go give women their own goddamn movie.
Mm-hmm. Don't fucking taint Jackie Chan with that bullshit.
I'm sorry. I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. So
yeah, Jackie Chan is like a huge commie, but he's like one of the huge commies that I actually like. Yeah, like.
Oh, he's a nice guy. He's actually like for real a nice guy. Too.
Yeah, but he's still
and
a commie.
He's just the shit.
He's still a commie, though. I mean, you know, like I said, I like him.
I mean, well, yeah, I like him. I don't have to go live with him or be a communist with him and stuff.
Right.
I like.
But then again, he's not out there saying like, "Let me tell you about why communism has never worked or has never really been tried or some dumb shit." Right? He's just like, "I'm gonna go make a fun movie," you know?
Yeah.
And
dude, I can't remember Rush Hour 3, so I'm guessing it really was meant because I remember 1 and 2.
I liked it. It was all right.
Did you? I'm pretty sure I've seen them all because I love that shit.
That's where the you know the guy
Karate Kid was. I felt sorry for him.
If they'd have called honestly, if they called that movie anything else, well, that's one of those. If they called it anything else, it might not have been so bad. But I think also Jaden Smith is just terrible. So probably
exactly. Did you like Men in Black? Well, now we're gonna do Women in Black. Yay!
How about we get rid of J&K? Yeah. Remember the reason why you come watch these movies?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get rid of that part and just kind of shame you into watching them, maybe.
Mm. Well, let's see if there's any comment. I'm going to reload this, see if there's any comments for... Because this dropped right before we went online.
Nice.
So, no comments? Really? Wow.
Yeah, I thought one was...
Oh, there's
maybe
one.
Not.
It's loading.
Yes, Women in Black.
I think somebody's like typing it as we speak.
Yeah.
Let's see what D has to say.
Don't disappoint, D.
Yeah. You're on the spot, D. They want to get rid of Liam Neeson on MIB because of his racist comment of a black criminal in the past.
I just think they need to leave that alone. Just stop touching it and go make a new movie.
Well, it's funny because even in Men in Black, you know, they had women agents, but they were still called MIB agents. You know, so
yeah.
It was kind of like it's just a catch-all term. It's not like saying, you know, men are better than women. I mean, was it in the third one? Wasn't a woman she was the director, head of MIB? So I mean, come on. So it's whatever, man.
Come on, D.
Yeah, D, hurry up. What's going on?
You better be writing a novel. It better be good.
Yeah. Let me throw another refresh on it. Maybe you got done.
I don't know. It still looks like he's typing and then stops and then typing.
No, Justice League, you came out a year ago. I don't care.
Yeah, seriously, what the guys?
Like I gotta talk to the person.
They
who's
still
bounding
making
into
money
comics.
off of that ad, or
yeah, I
what?
gotta talk to people who run bounding into comics. He's like, big guy. Why do you keep running these Justice League ads? Don't think it's time to retire those.
Oh, where'd you go, D?
Yeah, I think D gave up. I wonder if it's Vampire Hunter D. That would be cool.
One of those, he typed a whole bunch of shit and then was finally like, nah, fuck it. I shouldn't fucking post it.
Yeah, right. He's just like, you know
I've done it a few times.
He's just like,
not even worth it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good idea to, you know.
Damn it, D. D let me down.
D, you absolute madman. Oh gosh, do I even want to talk? I mean, it's already gone an hour. I'm tired. You just want to save the other one for tomorrow? Well, I did advertise it, so I might as well talk about it.
Might as well.
Yeah.
It's did we talk about all of it? Yeah, we did.
There's nothing. What else is there to say? Like Clark Gregg's a cuck.
Yeah, I really. It's one thing when you're on contract and you need to shill them, but the second you decide to attack fans and call them names over shit that's not real, like not actually happening, and just accusing them of shit, I'm like, you know, my interest in you has died. You're obviously not a person that appreciates your fucking fans unless they have titties, apparently.
Yeah, and even then, it's like you got to have certain kind of titties. You can't be just
Yeah.
because they won't respect your opinion, for example.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's interesting. Let's talk about this one. Frank Tieri apologizes for insults and threats aimed at critics, bemoaning Dan Panosian's, Panosian's defense of his Female Furies cover. Now, I think I'll go into the thing, but to give the background, some idiot was trying to say that the gaze of all these characters was aimed at the Lashina, who's the girl in the black and the silver here. They said that everybody's gaze was aimed at her crotch.
What the fuck?
Which, Piper, you're an artist. You can clearly see that their eyes are aimed at the person who's tied up.
Yeah. That was definitely the intention.
So, yeah, that's just to give the clarity on this situation.
No, as I'm looking, their eyes are downcast. So they are looking at her, which makes composition of the picture.
Yep.
Why the fuck would he be making them look at somebody else?
So, yeah.
I love the poop emote. I do. Sorry. Random chat thing.
Unless you're too white to have opinions. White boobs.
White boobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I get discounted almost.
Comic book writer Frank Tieri took to Twitter to apologize for his insults and threats aimed at a critic and fan. Last Thursday, Claire Napier made a post on her Twitter account concerning her opinion on the cover for DC's Female Furies #2, drawn by Irredeemable artist and Slots creator Dan Panosian. And she goes, "I don't think Panosian's cover sells today's Female Furies very well." All right, let me get rid of the garbage. All right, garbage is gone.
God damn it.
Says, Napier, the former features editor and editor-in-chief at Women Write About Comics,
Whoa.
And editor of the award-winning graphic novel Finding Home, I've never heard of it, took issue with the line of sight featured on the cover. She perceived the line of sights were awkwardly focused. And here's where she drew lines all over it to show, like, hey, look at where they're looking at. I'll make it big on the screen. But yeah, if you could see my screen, it'll pop up in a second. She thinks everybody is focused in on Lashina's crotchal region.
Yeah, this sounds like she was.
It sounds like she's a moron.
Crotchal.
Yeah.
Because no.
And so you hear what she says. Why be this foolish? I just don't know. I don't get it. The comic is good. This is mining below it. And it says the line of sight diagram as depicted by Claire Napier. The Female Furies miniseries paints a very progressive history of Granny Goodness and her female Furies during their time in Apocalypse. This is, basically, woke bullshit. The miniseries features questionable writing choices, such as turning Darkseid into a Me Too style sexual predator and depicting the culture on Apocalypse as one that boasts a hilariously strawman-esque patriarchal power structure, which have left many of fans divided on their opinions. Though the merits of the book and the story choices are a separate topic, Napier is providing her criticism through the lens of the actual story being told, hence her discomfort with the focus on the female's character's pelvic area. Napier's criticism is true to the response of Panosian himself, who refuted her diagram with his own interpretation of line of sight, in which he shows, like, no, here's where their gaze is lying. He said,
well, the thing is, I just gotta say this because it's driving me crazy. Her lines were just driving me the fuck crazy.
Ethan Van Sciver said he thinks she just wanted to draw the anarchy symbol.
The thing is, the thing that's getting me is mostly the fact that she's ignoring the angle of the finger that she's trying to draw pointing at a crotch.
Yeah. She's like she's making it point downward. I was like, nobody points like that.
Yeah, she's also forgetting the angle.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh my god, it's just killing me.
She's assuming somebody's
sure,
gaze.
You can go and point at somebody's legs, as it shows.
Yeah.
But obviously, before it hits that, it's going to hit the target of the point, the actual person you're pointing at.
Mm-hmm.
And she's making it point down when she's forgetting, like, dimensions. My brain is dying right now.
Perspective?
There we go! That was the word I was looking for. She's like, what is perspective at this point?
Yeah, because she's got...
Not only that,
like,
but when
honestly,
your eyes are open and pointing a certain way, there is a shit ton of things that I can look at while my eyes are aimed a certain direction.
Now, here's the funny thing. Like, with her pointing, like, she's assuming that the person's eyes are over here, right? So, I would love to see the distorted look. I mean, the person wouldn't look like a human, person.
Yeah.
And because they're basically saying they're pointing at something that they're not pointing at, but they're pointing at something, but then not looking at it, Yeah. And of course, and as I said, Dan Penosian says, it's all a matter of perspective and how you wish to view it, view the world, I would suppose. And then he shows where her perspective is actually coming from. If you can see, you'll see it on my screen. Where he's showing,
which is what I saw when I just saw the plane picture. That's what I saw.
Everybody's pointing at the person being strangled or bound up.
Yep.
See, and the thing is, like, you missed the purpose of, like, a woman being bound up.
Yeah, if you wanted to bitch, if you just felt like bitching about something for attention, why didn't you pick that?
I like that.
That makes way more sense.
Feminist Furies, fix the title. And then let's see, he goes. So yeah, the back and forth between Napier and Penosian followed, with Napier detailing her issues with Penosian's work while Penosian defended the cover. She goes, "I'm very happy that you're telling me this. It absolutely wipes away my own observations. I shall be good now and say nothing ever in case I am proven wrong." Well, you were.
You were like hardcore.
Yellow Flash keeps calling it female furries. That's actually funnier. Yeah, furries get the gas. That's like it's like, I'm just defending my artistic choices, hopefully informing of my intentions. You're obviously free to interpret anything however you choose, but at least now you know where I was coming from. And then she goes, "It's really cool how you're totally uninterested in my artistic evaluation, but pretty darn keen on me acknowledging yours." What?
What kind of answer is that?
Yeah, you know why?
If he was uninterested, he wouldn't explain
that you were wrong.
Yeah. And honestly, he did it pretty nicely. He was just like, no, it's this. Yeah. I would know because I'm the one that drew it.
Yeah.
And that was my intention.
But she's
just like, oh, well, because you intended it to look the way you drew it, the way you wanted. Fuck me, right? For looking at her crotch instead. Like,
here's the thing. Whenever this shit happens where they're absolutely proven incredibly wrong, they immediately become the victim.
Mm-hmm. Every goddamn time.
It's the playbook. I mean, it's in the playbook. They know they know what they're fucking doing. I mean, that's just what it is. And he goes on to respond, "It's interesting enough that I provided my perspective on the topic. It's not a personal attack, but your responses seem to insinuate you're offended that I would bother to explain my intentions. I'm sorry you disliked it so much. Peace." And she goes, "What do you think about my perspective? What do you think is incorrect about the eye lines I have drawn on your cover?" Like, because you were wrong.
Yeah.
You were totally, absolutely.
Like, she completely threw perspective out the window of the entire drawing just to draw some lines on it.
Her sight lines are as bad as that one Batgirl page. Yeah, with the phantom door and the...
Yeah, God, that was... I don't want to think about that again.
Yeah.
Keeps me up at night. No.
Yeah. And he goes, "It's one way of looking at it, certainly. Personally, I feel the lines I drew incorporate character sight lines as well. But it's only in the eye of the beholder. I get that. I just wanted to let you know I wasn't intentionally doing something like that." If they incorporate sight lines as well. See, once again, she's got to be argumentative and be the victim. She can't just be wrong. She's not allowed. You're not allowed to tell her that she's wrong.
Yeah, dude, take the L. I've had to do it sometimes.
Like I said, Claire knows Dan's intent.
Like little internet scuffles or whatever the hell, stuff like this.
Yeah.
I've had to apologize and be like, oh, I see it now, I get it.
Yeah.
Usually not about art stuff, but about shit in general.
Like Claire knows Dan's intentions.
Way more mature.
Claire knows Dan's intentions better than Dan himself. Oh, let's see.
Like she ignores that Granny's like looking down her nose at the person while tilted back, the head's tilted back a little bit. She completely ignores that.
So,
like,
what do you think is wrong with the eye lines I drew? They don't exist in reality. Yeah, I like that. Just call it the impossible bathroom. You know, like the impossible triangle. Okay, if they incorporate sightlines as well, then you're getting my gist. That the cooch strap is also a subject of compositional focus. Yeah, the thing I'd like to say, since you are here, is look out for that in the future. Avoid it. Like what? At this point in the exchange, that Panosian begins to grow increasingly defensive over his work, downplaying his compositional work to place the blame on the costume itself. Interesting way to describe a costume aspect I didn't design, but okay, I'll try to be more aware of composition choices. Gosh.
He's still he's being way more polite than I would have been able to be at this point.
Gosh, you didn't design it. I know this. Did you draw it? Yes. Did you arrange it on the page? Yes. You have a responsibility for how you present the elements. You are hired 2%. I'm saying, have you considered this aspect of the presentation? No, you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
You're being a fucking bitch. Let's be fucking totally honest here. Like you're being offended for no fucking reason just because you want to be offended, Claire. That's what's problem with you NPCs out here. You find something, you find something to be offended about. You find out, oh, guess what? That was not the intention in any way, shape, or form, but you're going to continue to be offended by it.
And the thing is, he's actually being polite as shit.
Yeah.
All things considered. He's being very professional and polite as shit right here. Still. Like, he's a trooper, because goddamn. And like, no. You look at a cover, it has chicks on it, and you're like, how can I get offended by this? I need some attention today.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was.
I want to be honest with you. I hadn't even thought about this, but I was thinking, when we do covers for my project, right? I don't even know the character. I don't even like one of the one prominent female character in our book. I mean, she's good look. You know, she's a nice looking woman and everything, and she's I wouldn't say moderately endowed. You know what I mean? But I almost want a version on a cover where she's got the biggest, ginormous, hugest titties, right? That defy fucking physics.
I will totally draw that for you if you. Cab might too, actually.
No, I think I got to give you some work. I'll let you draw it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
You can draw Lydia's big, ginormous, huge fucking rat. I want that bitch to have like
hot air balloon titties.
Yeah. No, and also on top of that, I want to show you how sturdy these bitches are. I want them to have you can put like an actual tray table where she can eat off of it.
Fuck yeah, perky as fuck.
Big ass, ginormous titties, and also a well endowed ass. Right, because you got to balance that shit out, right? And it'll look nothing like that in an interior art, but I just want
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it to Hey Claire. What do you think of this?
Make sure she's got like a teeny impossible though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or at least an impossible waist for the rest of that body shape to be able to hold up.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna by the way, this is the woman who drew it, right?
Yeah, you ready to fucking try to bitch me out?
Yeah. That's like, okay.
I can be professional, but there's a point where I'm like, dude, fuck off. Like,
okay, so it says, you're saying definitely not, and that's a good thing. My friend, it's not a good thing. It's a lapse. It doesn't sell the comic well. It's not a lapse because it had nothing to do with what you're fucking talking about.
Does she ever wonder why she's the only person that noticed this? Like, obviously.
Michael Beacon says in the chat, "Oh God, Claire has a column called the bloodied vagina."
All right, I'm done. Fuck this shit. He apologized for this?
No, this is somebody else who got involved. This is not Dan Panosian. He was just like getting, let's say, all right.
No, I mean, I thought he.
No, it wasn't him. But somebody else came in and like.
Forth.
Somebody else came in.
He apologized for somebody else's.
No. The other person. We'll get to that. We're getting to there. Okay, slow down. Slow down.
Oh, no, Frank. Okay, yeah. Okay, I forgot. Frank.
At this point, it appears that Napier struck a chord as Panosian insulted Napier's work, Napier's own work as he attempted to exit the conversation. Typically, artists, out of respect, don't go on and critique the work of other artists to save film. I took a look at your work, and I might suggest you spend more time learning to draw and less time criticizing others. Good luck.
That's bloody vagina, period. Right? So I'm done.
Got him.
That's all you need to know about this chick.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
See, this sounds like an exit that I would have made right there. That's about as polite as I would have been able to be.
This
at that
response
point.
by Panosian sparked a wave of criticism against the artist, who believed his comment was inappropriate and done for no other reason than to bully Napier.
Wow. Yes,
okay.
you poor
all right,
thing.
All right, wait. Okay. All right. Man or woman, don't care. Man or woman. Somebody spends 3 hours punching you in the face repeatedly. Right? And will not stop. And you're standing there taking it for 3 hours. They're just constantly punching you in the fucking face repeatedly. Right? Over and over and again. Well, finally, at the tick of hour 3, you've had enough, and you rear back and knock the hell out of them.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say after all that, you spit the blood that's in your mouth on their face. Like
no, I'm talking about, like I said, and I wouldn't say he did that, but I'm just saying at that point.
I'm saying metaphorically. This isn't rearing back and punching her back. This is spitting her shit back at her.
Well, I would say punch back.
So physically, I'm imagining it as spitting in her face.
Quit stepping on my analogies here, okay?
Your analogy sucks.
My analogy is great.
Mine's cooler.
Yeah, but I'm talking about defensive. You're actually defending yourself, right? So
that is a defense. It's assault.
Somebody punching you for 3 fucking hours in the face, and then you finally says enough, and you defend yourself and knock the person out, right?
Okay.
Then, but you're the bully apparently.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. How about this? Dumb. You know what? Bring back fighting in school. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about guns and shit like that. I'm talking about let kids just fucking brawl in the playground. Let them go at it. We're raising a bunch of fucking wusses.
Yeah.
Apparently not your child, because he's stabbing people in the fucking classroom.
Right.
But besides that, sorry, I'm getting getting heated here.
Like, excuse me.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, bully Napier. The outrage would lead Panosian to publicly apologize via his Twitter account. So he apologizes at this point.
So he did apologize. See, fuck that shit. He did apologize.
There's a tacit understanding about artists that you don't publicly critique another artist's work. If you're a critic, that's one thing. But if you're a critic and you make comics, you're also an artist. You can't have it both ways. If I engage with a critic, I'm always polite. No critic is wrong. All of it is opinion, except when they are wrong. They were wrong about that. They were wrong.
Yeah.
You corrected them, and they still thought they were right. Including mine. I don't generally respond to negative comments. When the criticism is valid, it's a learning opportunity. But I don't subscribe to the notion that an artist or writer must remain silent if their work is misunderstood or maligned. An artist or writer has as much of a right to express their voice / response as the critic. When I do respond, I choose to be polite and fair. If a critic is rude to me, I still try to be polite. If the same critic is also an artist, big or small, I feel that they should be open to taste of their own medicine. Either stick to one or the other. Otherwise, it's simply not fair. For instance, movie critics don't generally make films, big or small. They critique films. If they do make films, they should be prepared for critiques. On a side note, if you feel the opposite, that's fine too. Follow your heart. Just be fair about it and ideally polite.
Wait, was this his apology?
That doesn't sound much of an apology.
That doesn't sound like apology.
That was
fine.
Yeah, that was more like explaining what he was doing.
Side or whatever. Yeah.
The responses to Panosian's apology were varied. Some felt the apology was disingenuous. That wasn't an apology, though.
Because it's not really an apology.
It's not really an apology.
It's just him saying,
he's just explaining,
I did what I did because this. So.
Yeah. He's essentially saying, like, okay, straight up, this is how I handle things. And
Yeah.
maybe and maybe there was something like maybe I shouldn't have, but who cares? I did it. Like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, response been varied. Thought he was actually apologized for his unwarranted attitude towards Napier. Unwarranted. It
Wow.
was unwarranted. Others, including comic industry professionals such as Sean Gordon Murphy, Donnie Cates, and Billy Tucci, stood in defense of Panosian's actions, painting Napier as a petulant child and Panosian as a true professional. I think that's true.
Yeah, very much so.
Of the many who were criticizing Panosian's apology in action, critic Mark Oliver Frisch found himself the target of the ire of Harley Quinn writer Frank Tieri. Frisch had joined the conversation by chastising Panosian for not only vanity searching for himself, but then responding to criticism with insults. Now, some people do that. They will look their stuff up, see who's talking about my stuff,
Yeah, well, a lot of people genuinely want to know how it's being taken.
Yeah, I mean, they want to know if is it good? People like it. Is it bad? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Typically, and he goes, typically artists, out of all sorts of reasons, including but not limited to respect, don't go online ego searching their name to start arguing with critics. Excuse me. And that's before we get to the petty insults part. Apologize and do better. She started it.
Yeah, no, fuck this guy. He does not get it.
Frisch would then respond to Tieri's support of Panosian's apology with an insult. Frisch would later admit that his shit heels tweet certainly wasn't the best way to start the conversation. Okay, and he says, why must shit heel Thursday at Team Comics? It must be shit heel Thursday at Team Comics Central. Frisch's insult and participation in the conversation. Now, this is a guy and a guy at this point. This isn't about the other person.
What's really funny too is that he fucking can't even follow his own shit.
Yeah. So now it's going to be a thing between this Mark guy and Frank Tieri, right?
Okay.
So
Frank Tieri is the big deal.
Yeah. So nobody else is involved at this point. This is between them two.
Okay.
Frisch's insult and participation in the conversation surrounding Panosian were the catalyst for an explosive outburst from Tieri, who proceeded to swear profusely at Frisch while also insulting him and threatening him with physical violence.
Wow.
The tweet has since been deleted by Tieri, but has been recovered through archival screenshots. Okay, so he goes, right. That's what I thought, pussy. Anyway, looking forward to hearing from you in another 10 years when you pop up out of your nothingness of an existence again to voice an opinion nobody gives a shit about. Later, cunt. Ooh. we getting spicy.
Yeah, that is pretty spicy.
And by the way, you pseudo-intellectual piece of shit. Whenever you grow balls big enough to call me an asshole to my face, you let me know. We can do it at a con or in a parking lot, but I'm either way quite sure that you won't.
I kind of want these read angrily out loud and then sped up or pitched up.
I might do that. I might record them later and then pitch them up so you can...
Right? This is becoming my favorite shit now. Is angry rants.
Yeah. Nobody cared about what you wrote then, and certainly nobody cares what you write now. In fact, our little Twitter exchange right now is the most play you've gotten in years.
Damn, son.
Nobody even knows who the fuck you are, loser. Jesus. What the fuck that's supposed to mean? Anyway, douchebag. No one's heard of you in like a decade, and we were all very cool with you, so you can kindly go back to being a completely irrelevant wherever the fuck you are. Thanks. Hey, I'll happily find out how to tell you to go fuck yourself in German if that'll make you feel better. Jesus. Sorry you had a problem with me defending my friend after he was called both foolish and sexist and didn't call anyone any names in return. But again, you've always been a giant cunt, so why change now?
Man, I like it's too bad he apologized. Otherwise, be like, I like this guy. Yeah. Damn.
You too. Nice catching up. I'm sure there's like parts of the conversation we're missing because it looks like he's responding.
Yeah, it looks like they're only showing his side.
Yeah, which those are fine. These are hilarious. You too. Nice catching up like this. But are you sure you don't want me to fill you in about my illustrious career over the last 10 years before I go? It seems like you really missed a lot. You just let me know, pal. Until next time. Ha! You really are out of the loop, huh? Look again, moron. I'm one of the busiest creators in comics and have been for some time. Wow, you're really making a dick out of yourself here. Probably should have go sniveling back to where you came from before you embarrass yourself further. And apparently, unblocked. I guess he blocked him at some point. You got tiresome, so I blocked you, but I'm very glad it seemed you wanted to take me up on my offer. After I blocked you and couldn't see it, of course. So where do you want to meet, tough guy? Oh, man. Oh, shit. Frank about to run hands. You set the standard for nothing. You're a troll and coward nobody remembers, and I've already wasted way too much time with you. But again, if you want to stop being a keyboard gangster and say any of this to my face, you let me know, and we'll see how it goes for you later. It's funny how the guy who started this by calling me and Dan shitheels are now crying about professionalism, or I guess somehow only my insults count. Fuck off.
I mean...
Though the deletion of the tweets by Tieri has led to the full conversation being lost, Frisch account still hosts his tweets towards Tieri, which appeared to show that Frisch, while combative, never escalated his rhetoric and language to the unprofessional levels displayed by Tieri. Yeah, he was definitely unprofessional.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, let's be honest. That was.
I mean, it's entertaining for me because I'm not him. But
yeah, that was the epitome of unprofessionalism.
One thing I don't like. I always hate the my career's bigger than yours, or my name's bigger than yours, whatever. I hate that my dick's bigger than yours. Who are you even, and shit like that.
Yeah,
I hate that shit. Like, I don't care who's doing it. This shit's so tacky.
Oh, here we go. Tieri's rage was not limited only to Frisch. During Tieri's outburst, former Image Comics branding manager and current Viz Media editor David Brothers offered his opinion on Tieri's behavior. Here's a comic writer who is so desperate to prove his manhood and superiority over someone else that he's threatening violence. Imagine having such cowardice rooted deep in your soul. Don't allow this. And he goes, Rich Johnson got punched at NYCC by a comic writer once. He took it on the chin and didn't snitch. Maybe in 2019 we should try harder to sweep these bad actors off the board. I mean, threatening someone, you know.
I do think it's fucking kind of funny that you imagine, you still imagine the stereotype of comic book people, right?
Yeah.
In general. And then you imagine
honestly
fucking throwing down at fucking conventions and shit.
I mean,
it's like, you know what? Fucking awesome.
Every con should just have a ring, so when these fools get like they want to air their grievances, put them in the ring, put those those big oversized boxing gloves on them so they don't get hurt too bad. You know,
sell fucking tickets, you'll
sell
make
some
bank.
tickets.
Everybody's gonna be like, my favorite comic book guy's gonna kick your favorite comic book guy's.
yeah. Sell some tickets. Do it. I mean, honestly, like I said, when I said bring back, let's bring back fighting in schools. Just let them fight. I mean, sometimes fighting is probably the best thing. That's probably the best fucking medicine, right?
Well, I think maybe keep it old school where it was after school, because now schools meddle.
Yeah.
No matter where the fights happen, if it's their students.
Yeah.
They still meddle in it and fuck with their education. And I'm like, you know what? Do the see me after school thing.
Mm-hmm.
Leave them the fuck alone, because I guarantee that's how you stop bullying.
Yeah. But also, but like I said, getting back to this situation. I mean, if creators are doing that, just get in the ring and fight. Yeah. I mean, like I said,
it's fucking funny.
Give them some, y'all can do the oversized boxing gloves. You've seen those. So you won't really get hurt, but you get to wail on the guy. I was about to say something else.
Yeah.
Glad I stopped myself. I won't. This video won't get demonetized.
Good job.
I mean, sometimes you just let them run hands. Let them do it. Go. I mean, maybe there's just too much pent up frustration, and just let them fight it out. I mean, and afterwards they'll probably be best friends because hey, at least we settled it like men.
Yeah.
I mean, threatening someone who lives thousands of miles away is selling wolf tickets to me, but what do I know? Maybe this 48-year-old man is really out in these Brooklyn streets, knocking over whoever crosses him like he's 16 again. Bet not, though. Sounds like a pose to me. If one of my friends caught his self-defending me by threatening to beat up strangers, I'd cut him all the way out of my circle. I'm a grown man and don't need that energy. Police your own before somebody does it for you. It's 2019, y'all. Do better. Look, okay, dude, stop with the current year bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. Because
that got old many current years ago.
yeah, straight up. My friend, I have friends, they probably want to jump in and defend me and stuff. I was like, don't worry. I would tell them, I was like, I got it. Don't worry. I would not berate them for like, hey, you can't talk like that. Don't do that. And I'd be like, I got this, dude. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not going to cut somebody out of my life because, they got a little bitchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
I mean, if the guy murdered somebody, yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little different because in response, Tieri lashes out at Brothers, extending the same invite I gave to Frisch and do so at a con or a parking lot to Brothers. Actually, you don't know the history I have with the guy, a guy who started the whole exchange by attacking my friend and calling me names, by the way. But either way, you can go fuck yourself and you get the same invite I gave him. Say it to my face, keyboard John Gotti. However, Frisch would elaborate on his alleged history with Tieri and clarify the extent to which they were in contact. The history Frank Tieri now claims he and I have, he used to write about U.S. comics, in particular a column about DC Comics for Comics Ace. Tieri wrote comics for DC during that stretch, so I'm sure those came up, but that's the extent of my history with him. For my part, for what I don't remember what those comics were, let alone what I wrote about them 10 years ago or however long it was, but it wasn't unusual for creators to freak out about the column back then, so it didn't surprise me Tieri was one of them, evidently. And then Mark Oliver Frisch, who used to write occasionally snarky analysis for the beat and riled up a few people along the way as a result. Okay, this is coming from Bleeding Cool and Rich Johnson, apparently. So once again, the extent of my history, Frank Tieri, is that I used to write more frequently about U.S. comics, which he appeared to remember me for. No other history with him, personal or otherwise. Ultimately, Tieri would delete his tweets and related to his aggressive outbursts, issuing an apology for the episode via Twitter. And he says, sometimes combining personal stress and the negativity of the internet can cause even the best of us to overreact and say things that are not normally in our nature or represent how we behave on our daily lives. And unfortunately, that's what I got caught up in the other day. I overreacted trying to defend myself and a friend against what I regarded as numerous personal attacks. I regret my choice of words and in retrospect certainly see how they can be taken literally. Just to be clear, although my rhetoric was heated in the moment, I in no way meant a literal statement of violence or threat upon anyone, either online or in person. Regardless of my intent, though, the end result was unprofessional of me and wrong. Apologies to those involved, the fans, my friends, and in the industry who have always supported me. This won't happen again. Then the thing is, he's still going to get hate.
Yeah. But he probably did have to issue the way it's worded and stuff. I think he really did have to issue that.
But yeah, he had to. I mean, the way he was talking about fight me IRL and
I like this orange flame guy though.
I like Frank Tieri a lot more after reading those tweets.
Yeah, it's a shame, and yeah, it was unprofessional as fuck, but it was entertaining as fuck. Mm-hmm. And I still think that you shouldn't be blamed for having a mentality of, sure, this crap is easy to type about me online. Mm-hmm. But what about if we were in person? You wouldn't, open your mouth. Granted, he took it really far by basically being like, I'll kick your ass. But the sentiment, I think, is valid.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's I don't know. Yeah, inflatable sumo suits. Let them fight in those or something.
Dude, that'd be funny.
I mean, I don't want nobody getting hurt or getting concussions or anything. So no, I'm not talking about boxing gloves or going MMA or anything like that. Just
that would be way cooler. But yeah, that might fuck up their future careers depending.
It's
on
kind of like
doing.
when who's that guy named Uwe Boll? He made those shitty movies, and he literally issued a fucking to fight his critics and shit. And they took him off on it. And the thing is, Uwe Boll actually is a boxer, and so he just went in and just fucked them up really bad.
Nice.
I mean, it was. You ought to look it up. It's spelled Uwe Boll, Boll. Look it up and just see him waste the. And there's some people, some of them you might not know. There was one during Gamergate that was and he got in one point he got destroyed by him. But there was this one guy. He was a video game, and he also did movie stuff. I think his name was Sean Baby. And the thing is, he was actually a trained MMA fighter and boxer too. And he wanted to get in on it, but we both wouldn't fight him. Oh man, Uwe Boll's movies were terrible. They were garbage, but they're a good kind of garbage. You know what I mean? It's like they're bad. They're really, really bad, but they're also quaint. If that makes sense. And the reason he made so many movies was because in Germany, like you get a tax break for making movies or something like that. So he could make like a shit ton of movies and it wouldn't cost anything essentially. So yeah. Anyway, he got subsidized to make shitty movies apparently. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else to talk about tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we did. A lot.
Yep. So yeah, I had fun. You had fun. Hopefully the chat had fun. I'm gonna drop the shill link in there one more time. Somebody give me money. Where's my money? Where's my money? Anyway.
Yeah. We'll remind them we'll do it like super chats.
Yeah. You're great
We'll
at chats.
read shit.
We'll read them as
Great
long
at
as
chat.
not, as long as not homophobic or racist. We'll read them.
Yeah, as long as it won't get rid of the channel.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. No need to do it tonight because I'm getting ready to. I'm gonna get off. But it's there for future references. So anyway, so you guys, you'll have a wonderful night. We will see you tomorrow night, and have fun. And we'll hopefully Piper will have some more interesting stories for us.
Hopefully not. Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe you won't have interesting stories. There you go.
Yeah, these stories suck.
All right, guys. So I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.